In this video, we are going to talk about 6 signs of relationship OCD every fearful avoidant should know. I am Pauline and I am so happy you are here because maybe you already know that you have the fearful avoidant attachment style, but you haven't heard of relationship OCD. And it could be that you've clicked on this video because you want to know more about relationship OCD and you haven't heard about the fearful avoidant attachment style. And these two are very linked, so it's so valuable to know more about both of them. And that's why I'm so happy you are here, because we are going to dive into that. So, from research, it shows that those with a fearful avoidant attachment style have a higher chance of relationship OCD. And in my years of working with people with relationship OCD and the fearful avoidant attachment style, I think, I kind of assume that everybody that really is struggling with relationship OCD has the fearful avoidant attachment style underlying that. The other way around isn't true. It's not that everybody that has the fearful avoidant attachment style also develops relationship OCD, but they are definitely linked. So it's so important to know the signs. So let's just dive into that. If you clicked on this video because you want to know more about relationship OCD and you don't know as much about the fearful avoidant attachment style, you can just look at my channel. There are so many videos explaining what this attachment style is in depth. So I'm just gonna jump into the 6 signs now. The first sign, and this is a very clear one of relationship OCD, is that you are constantly checking your feelings. And what I mean by that is you are constantly checking whether you miss your partner enough, whether you love them enough, whether you feel in love enough, whether you feel a spark enough, whether you are feel intense passion or attraction towards your partner enough. So it could be that you're just sitting on the couch together and it's actually nothing's wrong, nothing's happening, and all of a sudden you get this thought, but should I be feeling more? And then you check your feelings. So you check whether you feel enough. You have this idea, this standard in your head of what you should be feeling in that moment. And you're constantly checking if it's there enough. And usually you'll notice that either it's there and you feel this sense of relief that is only momentarily, because a few seconds, minutes, or hours later, there is another thing you're checking, or it's there and it's not intense enough, or it's not long enough, or it goes away again and you want it to be there constantly, or it's not there and you just kind of panic because you should be feeling more. So checking your feelings is actually a compulsion that is part of relationship OCD. So OCD, many forms of OCD have a type of compulsion, and we know that if you have the type of OCD where you need everything to be clean, the cleaning is the compulsion. But with relationship OCD, it is checking your feelings, and it's not something that's visual. You can do it while sitting on the couch with your partner. So it's kind of harder to notice, especially for other people, but even for yourself. But it's definitely a sign of relationship OCD. Um, and I realize I haven't even explained what relationship OCD is, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Assuming that you've been following this channel and you know about the fearful avoidant attachment style, but not as much about the relationship OCD. So OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder, and we know that mostly through movies and TV series with the cleaning. That's like, or the light switching on and off before you go. That's like the examples we usually hear of OCD. But there is a thought form of OCD, which means that you have obsessive thoughts and behaviors, but sometimes not visible. So there is a subtype of OCD that focuses completely on relationships, and that's relationship OCD. There is so much more information to find about relationship OCD, and I might make more videos about it, so I'm not going to dive into what it exactly is too deep now. But that was the first sign. Checking your feelings is definitely a sign of relationship OCD. Then the second sign is obsessing over compatibility. And I remember so well that I used to have this too. So I definitely had relationship OCD for years, while I definitely also had the fearful avoidant attachment style and I didn't know. So I would obsess about how well we fit together, how well we looked together. Also, I would look at pictures and think, well, but are we like the perfect couple? Do we fit together? But also, do we um, challenge each other enough? Do we just all the things you can be compatible in? I would obsessively check if we are or were compatible. Um, and this I did through asking friends. I did through Googling. And a lot of people with relationship OCD actually Google a lot of things. Is it normal that, or shouldn't I this or that? Um, so you might recognize that. And there's this want or actually need for you to be perfectly compatible with your partner and not have any differences, not have any things that could be in the way of you being happy forever together. So, um, obsessions about compatibility is definitely also a sign of relationship OCD that a lot of fearful avoidance might recognize. Then the third one is focusing on flaws. And these can be really, really tiny flaws in your partner. So I remember I would focus on the fact that I thought his nose was too big, or that his body wasn't in the right, how do you say it, proportions, or that his eyebrows were too thick. It was really small things, and usually when I hear this back from other people um, that have gone through my programs, they say I was so scared to admit that because it just feels so superficial. Um, but it's not. It's not about the physical flaw. It's not about the thing you're focusing on. It's a deeper lying fear and a control, wanting control, and a need for perfection. So I remember that I felt so ashamed focusing on his flaws so much while I wanted to just be able to accept him completely. I couldn't, and I didn't understand why, and now I do way more. But just know that you are not superficial. It's not you. It's nothing you are doing wrong. It doesn't say anything about you as a person or about your character. This is a sign of relationship OCD, that obsessive focusing on flaws in your partner. We might go into that even more in a different video. I can talk about any of these points for longer, but I'm gonna go through to the next point, point number 4, and that's the feeling of repulsion. And I think there are many fearful avoidants that have the feeling of repulsion without having relationship OCD, but it can definitely also be a sign of relationship OCD, especially if you assign a lot of meaning to it and start obsessing about, well, if I feel this repulsion, so the opposite of attraction towards your partner, then that means that I have to break up, and this relationship isn't right, so I should break up, but I don't want to break up. But is the reason that I don't break up that I don't want to be alone? Is that the only reason? Which would mean I'm weak and I'm only leading them on, so I should break up, but I don't want to break up. But not wanting to break up and not wanting to be alone shouldn't be the reason I'm in this relationship. That's quite a typical thought cycle for somebody with relationship OCD to have. So that repulsion leads into obsessive thoughts. So also with this repulsion, even though it sounds crazy, it doesn't have to do anything with your relationship. It is way more your intense fear of connection, your intense fear of failure, in the sense that if this would become a serious relationship, that you would make a mistake, F up, somewhere down the road. And that can cause you to push your partner away really hard. And repulsion is just kind of like a mechanism for you to be able to do that. So it doesn't say anything about your relationship, about your partner, or about you. It really is just a mechanism of your body to make sure your partner is at a distance that feels safe for you in that moment. And then the fifth one, I keep checking, I don't know them by heart, the doubts. So doubts are definitely a sign of relationship OCD. And I mean, intense doubts, because everybody kind of has doubts about their relationship. I didn't even know this, so it might be an eye opener for you too. But because I remember thinking that I was the only one that had doubts in their relationship, it felt like everybody just knew for sure, or they were strong enough to break up. Um, but it turns out pretty much everybody has doubts. Even the people in really happy relationships have doubts every now and again or at some point in their relationship, but it's very normal. It's very normal to have doubts. Where it becomes relationship OCD is when the doubts become obsessive, and they become obsessive more easily when you think they shouldn't be there, when you judge yourself, when you judge your thoughts, when you judge your feelings. So then all this pressure is mounting up that you shouldn't have doubts about your relationship because that's a really not a good sign, and maybe you should break up, and that fills you with fear and panic and anxiety. So that makes it even more important that you figure this thing out and that you know for absolutely certain that he or she is the one, which causes more doubts because you keep looking for the things that are wrong. You keep looking for the things that are missing in your relationship. And doing that is just almost like a recipe for not being happy in the relationship, right? I mean, what you pay attention to grows. So when you focus on what is wrong and what is missing and what is not there, you're just gonna see more of what is not there, and you're just gonna feel so unhappy and empty. While when you focus on what is there and what you're thankful for, then that's a whole different relationship you can have, an experience of the relationship. And the fact that you don't do that doesn't mean that you're wrong or that something is wrong with you. It just means that there is a fear and there is a benefit to focusing on those things that are missing. And that benefit is that it's protecting you in a way. And this is all way too much to go into right now. I wish I could. But these doubts really are a protection mechanism. And the sixth sign, because whenever we talk about relationship OCD, I always get the question, but how do I know if it's relationship OCD or I actually just have doubts about my relationship? And that's a question every single person with relationship OCD will ask themselves. So one way to know that this actually is OCD, first of all, I've said obsessive quite a lot of times. So the obsessive part about it, the not being able to let these thoughts go, not being able to park them, is definitely a sign of the fact that it's really relationship OCD. But also when you notice that problems jump. And what I mean by that is that at one moment you can be obsessing about the fact that you don't share the same sense of humor. You should be laughing way more. And you keep going back to memories, whether you thought he or she was funny enough, whether there was enough humor or lightness in your relationship, and you keep finding more evidence that it isn't there, and then all of a sudden you're with your partner and he or she says something funny and you're laughing and you're like, oh, that isn't a problem at all, and you feel this sense of relief and everything is well and you can stay in this relationship. And then after a few minutes or a few hours, you think, wait, but if we feel so comfortable with each other, doesn't that mean we're just friends and not more than friends? And all of a sudden you're obsessing about that. So that's what I mean with problems jump. They jump from one problem that you need to solve or need to figure out or need to check to a different problem. Well, if it really is a problem, it would be the same problem. There wouldn't be new problems added in. It wouldn't jump around. And what can happen too with relationship OCD, and I want to mention that because it's so frustrating to go through this and not know what's happening. That can be so confusing. not only can relationship OCD jump to different problems within your relationship, it can also jump to different areas of your life. So what happens often, not always, but often, is that people that experience relationship OCD also can experience HOCD, which means homosexuality OCD, which means that you start doubting whether you are attracted to men or women. And it can also jump to POCD, which is a pedophilia OCD. And this is a really hard one that I found so terrifying to have. But it's the fear or the feeling that you're attracted to children, and all the shame and guilt that comes with that, and the feeling that you should be in jail and you shouldn't feel these things. Um, so, I mean, every type of OCD is just um, really a struggle. And that's why I want you to know these subtypes. These three usually can come together. Um, and if you know that that's happening, it helps you to be able to see it from a distance a little bit more. But if you notice that it keeps jumping from one to the other, you know it's OCD. Because in the end, and this might sound like I'm not taking it seriously, and I am absolutely taking it seriously. Um, I just don't want to take your fear brain seriously because that the fear brain is running the show right now, and that's what's making you feel so desperate and so exhausted and so confused. It is not necessary for you to feel so much fear and panic and unhappiness and sadness about your relationship in order to know whether they are the one. I don't even really believe in the one. That's also maybe a video for a next time. But I remember that I thought the amount of fear I had said something about the relationship. Well, actually, the more panicky and the more anxious you are and the more obsessive you are, the more it just says that there is definitely something going on. There is a deep fear, um, but it doesn't have to do anything with your relationship. It's not that the wrong relationship always incites such fear and panic. That's not how it works, and it's not like that's the compass to know whether a relationship is right or not. Okay, I can just keep going and keep talking to you. I really hope this helps. I really hope this kind of gave an insight and kind of gave you a sense of peace and calm, knowing that it isn't you. You aren't crazy. This is just something that comes from a deep sense of fear, and you can heal this. 10 years ago, I was in the middle of it. I had it for 5 or 6 years, relationship OCD, um, while not knowing that that was it. And now I don't have that at all. At all. Like the opposite. I think I am more chill and relaxed than a lot of other people around me that never experienced this. And I am happily married to that same guy that was so patient and so loving. And we've been married for 7 years. We've been together for 13 years. We have a baby girl that's almost 2. And I'm just very happy in my relationship. For the past 7 years, from the moment we kind of got married, and it's not that when you get married, all of a sudden the doubts stop, but that for me, that kind of was a coincidence. For the past 7 years, I have not had one doubt in my mind about my relationship. Um, so it is possible. And I so wish that for you, that sense of calm and peace and that sense of love. I wish I could just give that to you. But all I can do is help you understand this and help you heal it. And if you want to heal it, I now have healing sessions. And those are twice a month, and you can sign up, register for them through the link in the description below. Um, and then we start healing the fearful avoidant attachment style, which is a lot of times, if not always, the root cause of relationship OCD. So if you're interested in that, sign up through the link in the description below. And let me know in the comments whether this was valuable for you, whether you recognized any of these signs, whether you know relationship OCD. I always want to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here.